Hello, wonderful. It is Sarah, and if you were anywhere near my house yesterday, you probably heard weeping. My mother calls it weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth. And school is quickly approaching us, and my children are going to have to go back to school. And they missed a lot of school because of COVID, right? And both kids really like school, especially my son. He just actually really loves school and loves learning. And so I thought, okay, when everything was happening in March, I just wasn't sure of what to do about school, but now that they're going back and they need to be prepared, I'm going to get them ready for school, right? So daily homework, that type of thing. I have some resources, electronic resources to some of the best teachers in the world. So I thought, okay, this is no big deal. My kids like learning. It was a huge deal. It was a huge deal. My son crying, saying, "Why do you not think I'm smart?" And he's very smart. And so what was actually happening is I was trying to get him to go over the fourth grade curriculum, right? So that he could be reminded, to be somewhat fresh on his mind rather than him taking 6 months or whatever it's been off school. I wanted him to go back and kind of refresh, right? Before he went back to school. But he took it as, I'm not smart. You think, you think I am doing baby stuff. I'm like, come on, this is a national average. This is not baby stuff. This is fourth grade curriculum for national average. We're just reviewing it. Come on, buddy, stick with me. Crying. And before you think I'm a mean mom who makes their kids do division in the summer, I do want you to know something about my son, and that is his identity is his intelligence, right? His intellect. And so him and his buddies are super competitive. And my son is actually more linguistic like me. You may have seen him on a few lives. He's more linguistic like me. So his reading scores and stuff are really high. And but his friends are really good at math, right? And so I specifically settled in on math because I did not want him to get into school and his buddies who are already good at math, because of course, he only compares his math scores to their math scores, right? He doesn't compare his reading scores to their scores or their science or whatever. He takes the worst thing, right? Which we all do this. It's like the one thing that's kind of a weakness to us, or that we feel more vulnerable about. Because across the board, his scores are actually a lot higher than theirs. Like even out, like when it's an average, right? But they just happen to be really good at math. So I knew if he went back into school and he felt like they were really good at math, and he wasn't really good at math, it was going to be even worse crying than was at my house yesterday, right? He's coming home from school crying. He's nervous about school. He's whatever, right? And we all want to set our children up for success, right? This is a way I could set him up for success, even if it meant division in the summer. It did not go well. He was crying, and it became an issue about his relationship with me, right? When he and I are very close, we get along very well. But in this certain instance, he was saying, "Oh, you think I'm a failure? You think I'm stupid that I have to do this?" I was like, "What? No, baby, you're so smart. See, I don't think you're a failure." Okay, you see the dynamic. It's awful, right? It becomes someone I get along well with. It becomes an issue between he and I, and here I am trying to help him so he doesn't get upset at school, and he's thinking I'm coming at him. You see the dynamic. It's a hot mess, right? And I had 3 choices, just like you have with any time something comes up in your life. You can think about it, you can talk about it, or you can do something about it. Or you can ignore it, right? You could ignore it too. I could have ignored what was happening and just not make him do division, not be prepared for school. I think it's not worth it. It's not worth the relationship between he and I, which it's not. I could think about it. Gosh, why won't he just do that? Why does he get so upset at me? I'm just trying to say the right thing. I'm trying to be a good mom. Why does he get so upset? Well, he does get upset because when it comes from me, he feels like it's, I think he's not smart or something, no matter how many times I say, "You're so smart, you're so smart, you're so smart," whatever, there's some emotional block there, which is probably a conversation for a different day. But it's because his identity is in intelligence, and he wants me to see him as amazing because he is. I could ignore the problem, what's happening. I could just really think really hard, what should I do? Or I could talk about it, right? Ben, what do you think I should do about this? Then call a friend. Oh, Brady was so upset today. Oh, this person was upset. Oh, this person upset. Or I could do something about it. And what I did, get on my neighborhood Facebook feed and say, does anybody have a tutor? Does anybody want to their high school child? Because my son can actually teach himself. He just needed someone else to sit there and hold him accountable, right? And so I said, does anybody have a tutor? Within an hour, I had a 4th grade teacher who was not going back to school this year and who taught math. Within an hour, I had a 4th grade teacher who was ready to, and we were on a Zoom call that afternoon, me and my son. Great. He says, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. I'm so happy you got me a tutor, because it's not a fight with us. It's not about this thing with my son. It's about when there's a big problem to solve. Him feeling good about who he is at school is a big problem to solve for me. Him feeling good about the relationship with he and I and remaining close is a huge problem to solve for me. And I could ignore it. I could just wish it away and wish it wasn't an issue. I could think really hard about it and worry in my head, well, why does he do this? Why does he do this? Why is he saying this? Why would he this? I could talk about it. Oh, you wouldn't believe what a hard morning I had. Or I could do something about it. And last night at dinner, I wasn't talking to Ben about what a hard day I had had. He saw it, right? He saw this whole thing go down, right? And he was like, oh, man, this is not the usual dynamic at our house. And I could do something about it. And so then when we sat at dinner that night, there was a solution attached. Well, that wasn't going well. I realized there was a problem to solve, and I took action to solve the problem. And so many times in our lives, when there's a huge issue, we think if we worry about it or complain about it or talk about it, right? Even in like some therapy situations where you just go hour after hour processing. Well, why do you think he said this? And then he said this. And what do you think happened? What do you think his intentions were when he said this? And then I did this. And then I did this. And I would not have been any dang closer to solving the problem. And if you want a different life, you have to be your problem solver. I have your own best problem solver. I've been so fortunate enough to go to these success summits and study with these people. And Damon Johnson, Damon off Shark Tank or whatever, he did the FUBU thing. You know, he's one of the speakers. And I can't imagine if he had gotten up, you know, when these men get up on stage, and it was too many men. I wish there'd been more women. But when these men who were, you know, made so much money and created this name and brand and whatever for themselves, and if they had gotten up there and just said, you know, I had a problem and I just really worried about it. I worried really hard though. I worried so hard about it. I just worried, and then I would go out with my girlfriends and I would just talk about the problem and just vent, you know, I just vent it. You would go, what is happening right here? Okay. But that has become, so many of us are part of our normal lives. We worry, we overthink, and we talk about the problems rather than solving the problems or ignore the problems, right? You can ignore it. You can talk about it. You can worry about it and think about it, or you can do something about it. And if you want to build wins in your life, you have to do something about it. I had a call last night with a lady who was in the Wondrous Woman group coaching program, and she wanted to move to the private coaching program to get a little more Sarah love. And that was what, you know, she said, I love my therapist, I love this, I love that, but I feel like I'm stuck. And I said, well, you know, this is our 3rd or 4th interaction and conversation and that kind of thing, and, you know, you're not solving any of your problems. You're going and you're finding other people to talk about your problems with, and they can love on you, and they can be supportive, and they can be good listeners. But then the next 6 months later, you come up with the same problem, and you're looking for good listeners or someone to understand, and you're not solving the problems. And some people have year after year after year after year have the same problems over and over and over again. It's like someone who maybe wants to date and maybe have a baby, and it's like, oh, you know, it's like I go to therapists and I talk about how hard dating is, and it's like, well, have you ever hired a dating coach? No. Why? That's been the biggest problem of your life. Why didn't you take steps to solving it? But I just the problem really bothers me. It just really bothers me that I'm alone. And the focus in the solution plan starts to become why it bothers you rather than how to change it. Just like at my house yesterday. Oh, I totally could have vented to a friend. Oh, it's just so hard that I have to homeschool and I don't want to, but I just want to be a good mom. I could have done all that, right? That's female culture. It's what we do. And we don't think, I don't want to do this anymore. I want him to go back to school prepared, and I want to continue to have a good relationship with him. And I don't want, this isn't working. I should try something else. And the problem had been solved in an hour. An hour. It was solved. So I want you to think about your own life. What is the problem? When I get on the coaching calls with my clients, right? Even the people who sign up for the initial call, I'm going to say, what 3 problems are you looking to solve? What 3 problems are you looking to solve in your life? Okay? Feel better is a very vague problem to solve. Of course you want to feel better. What does that mean? What does it look like? Self-confidence. Okay, kind of a little more a specific problem to solve, but still very vague. Self-love. What the heck does self-love mean? Right? These are such vague problems to solve. So no wonder you feel like you're never getting any momentum. Yesterday in my life, he did division. Actually, 2 years ahead. He got excited about learning again. He and I had a happy, peaceful relationship to the point that the kid said, "Thank you for getting me a tutor." Easy solution, an hour. I saved my energy, the calm nature of my home that I protect so diligently. I protected my relationship with my son. I protected my day. The rest of my day was not spent venting to my friends or whoever, Ben or whoever, about, God, I can't believe I have to homeschool, and I can't believe this, and I can't believe that. I can't, it's just fixed. It's just fixed. And as you go through your life, I hope you are looking at what problem am I trying to solve. That girl who's doing who moved to the private coaching program, she's like, okay, Sarah, what problems are we going to solve? And she kind of like, oh, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. This is what's going on. And so she told me about all these things for about 30 minutes. And it was like, okay, I can be understanding. But your life, you need solutions. And you need to be able to take action towards those solutions. Not just ignore them, not just think about it really hard, not wish it away, and not, just talk about it or process. Oh, it really sucks that this happened. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And I have more empathy and understanding than nearly anyone. And even that lady last night, the stuff she was telling me was hard. It was so hard. But you need people in your life who are more than a listening ear, who are more than pat you on the back and say, I know it's hard. You need a plan for figuring out what problems have solutions and what steps you can do to actually change your life. Not just wish your life was different, not just think about your life was different, not just really wanting it. Getting there. Being able to look, this year was like this, and then this year was like this, and then it was different. Something in my life was different because I was different. I made choices. And there's a great analogy that a friend who told me, she actually works with women and in divorce coaching, and then she moved to working with men. I said, why did you work with men? And she said, I want you to imagine a male and a female go into a store and try on a pair of pants. And the female goes into the store, and it's the perfect pair of pants. They look the best that she's ever seen pants look on her. And she goes, well, I don't know. I'm just going to go to like 3 more stores and just check. Okay, I just want to like see if there's any like better pants out there, And a guy walks in the store, and he tries on the pants, and they're the best pants he's ever seen. He goes, I need 3 pair. And in your own life, are you going to be great, this is a fit, I need to do it, 3 pair? Or, oh, this is perfect for me, but because toxic people and toxic relationships teach you learned helplessness. They want to be the decision maker of your life, and you not to be the decision maker of your life. They want you to refer to them for making your decisions. And if you do not change that pattern, your life will not change. If you're always looking for someone else to make the decision for you or to figure out what is best for you, and you have think how vulnerable and vulnerable you are. I don't even know another word. It's just like helpless you are when it's like, oh, who should make this decision for me, and who should, oh, there's a huge problem, I'll just think about it really hard. Oh, there's a huge problem, I'll just worry about it. There's a huge problem, I'll just hope it goes away. There's a huge problem, I'll just, just talk about it. It leaves you have that feeling of unsafety. That is unsafe. You can't protect yourself in that way, and you can't change your life in that way. You have to figure out what problems you want to solve. And if, we were at coffee, right? And I said, okay, well, what's your solution plan? This is where you are. Where do you want to go? What is your solution plan? In my own life yesterday, oh dear, I need Brady to be super prepared for division, so when his buddies are knocking it off the chart in math, he doesn't feel insecure and vulnerable. That was my goal. Okay, he doesn't have to be the best in the school. It's not about that. It's about protecting his emotional health, right? That's my goal. It's a big, important thing to me. Protecting his identity and who he feels good about himself. Big goal, okay? So where we are is, oh dear, I've given him a great resource to help with this, but for some reason there's a disconnect when I'm the one who does it, and so it becomes an emotional issue between he and I, and it becomes fighting between he and I, which is very abnormal, and we're not solving any of the problem that I want to be solved. Okay, where can I get from A to D? Okay, this is what I'm doing, this is the plan, I'm going to reach out to this person, I'm going to reach out to this person, I'm going to hire this, and it's solved. Done. And now, when I'm at lunch with my girlfriends or talking to my parents, I can say, oh, I just made one of the best decisions of my life. Not, I'm so worried about Brady. I'm not worried about Brady anymore. Do you know what a relief as a parent it is not to be worried about your child for some reason? It's amazing, right? It's amazing. And, last night when I went to bed, I just love you, Mommy. I just love you. We could have spent a whole day fighting, and we didn't. Take action toward your problems. And if you don't have a mapped out healing plan that involves more clear goals than feeling better, you're never going to get where you want to go. When you are faced with a problem, you can ignore it. You can think really, 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 really hard about it, overthink about it. You can talk about it. Oh, it really bothers me when this. It really bothers me when this. It really bothers me when this. Or you can solve it. And if you look at the people who have their, excuse my language, have their shit together, they are solving problems. I guarantee you in your life, there's an area, maybe career, that, of course you do this. And you haven't applied that same thing to your healing process, the same thing to your growth, the same thing to your personal relationships. It's the same stuff. It's the same stuff. You always need to be your own best problem solver. You always need to be the person who can make the best decisions for you rather than hoping someone out there can do it for you. And you need a plan where it's like, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm doing. And I'm solving my problems. I'm not just thinking or talking about them. Okay? Hope that helps. If you have any questions, you can put it in the comments. Have a great day.